When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done. When the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair.
Fair is foul.
Hover through the
Hover
fog,
through the filthy air.
What bloody man is that? He can report as seemeth by his plight the revolt the new estate.
This is the sergeant that like a good and hardy soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend. Say to the king thy knowledge of the ball as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gallaglasses is supplied. And fortune, smiling on his damned quarrel, showed like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name. Disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which did smoke with bloody execution, like Valor's minion did carve out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell till he had unseamed him from the nave to the chaps and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman!
As once the sun gins his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break, so from that well where comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark, no sooner justice had with furbished arms compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismay not as our captains Macbeth and Banquo.
Yes. As swallows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. If I say sooth, they were as cannons, overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled their blows upon the foe. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha. I cannot tell, but I'm faint, and my gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. Go, get these surgeons. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane Ross.
What a haste that's through his eyes, so should he look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king!
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fang our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by the most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that the learner's bridegroom confronted him with some comparisons. Point against point rebellious, arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit. And, to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness.
That now, Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men, till he disperse that St. Cole's inch, $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Where hast thou been?
Killing swine.
Where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Anoint thee, witch! The rump-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's a leprechaun, master of the tiger, but in a sieve, out with a sail. And like a rat, without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou art kind,
And I another.
I myself have all the other. And the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know, and the shipman's cad. I will drain him, dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live, a man forbid. Weary Samnites 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak and pine, though his bar cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Look, what I have,
Show me, show me.
here I have a pilot's thumb. Rector's homeward he did come.
A drum. A drum, Macbeth hath come.
The weird sisters, hand in hand,
Posters of the sea and land.
Thus to go about.
Thrice to thine and thrice to mine. And thrice again
To make up 9.
Peace. The charm's wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is it called to forest? What are these, so withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth and yet are on it? Speak you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me, if I each at once had chappy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be winning, yet your beards forbid me to interpret that it is so.
Speak, if you can.
What are you?
all hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail, Macbeth. Thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you stop and start to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? Or my noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction, of noble having and of royal hope? Yet to me you speak not. If you can, look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not. Speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favours nor your hate.
Hail,
Hail.
hail. Lesser than Macbeth and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay, you imperfect speakers, tell me more. By Sinel's death, I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, and why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you!
The earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air. And what was corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings,
You shall be king,
and Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so?
to the self-same tune and words. Who's there?
The king hath happily received Macbeth, the news of thy success, and when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend which shall be thine or his. Silenced with that, in viewing o'er the rest of this selfsame day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death. As thick as hail came post with post, and everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defence, and pour them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, but only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of a greater honour, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed clothes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he conspired with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, he laboured in his country's wreck. I know not but Treason's capital, confessed and proved, have undermined him.
Thane of Cawdor and Glamis, the greatest is behind. I thank you, gentlemen. Do you not hope that your children shall be kings when those that gave Thane of Cawdor to me promise no less to them?
Well, that untrusted home might yet unkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange. And oftentimes, to win us, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. Cannot be good, cannot be ill. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion which doth unfix my hair, and make my heart knock against my ribs, against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings, and my thoughts, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shake so my single state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's wrapped.
If chance shall have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir.
New horrors come upon them like our garments, cleave not to their mould, but with the aid of use.
Come what may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Noble Macbeth, we wait upon your leisure.
Forgive me, friends, my dull brain was racked with things forgot. Kind gentlemen, your pains are recorded where in every page we turn the leaf to read them. Come, let us towards the king. Think on what hath chanced, and in more time, the interim having weighed it, we may speak our hearts freely each to other. Till then enough. Come, friends.
Is execution done in Cawdor? Are those not in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back. But I spoke with one who saw him die that did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like believing of it. He died as one that had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman in whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before the swift wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Wouldst thou hadst less deserved, the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The services and the loyalties I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness's part is to receive our duties, which are to your crown and state children and servants, who do but what they should in doing everything towards thy love and honour.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee and will labour to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, who has no less deserved, nor shall be known no less to have done so, let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kingsmen, thanes, and those whose places are nearest, know we shall establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we shall name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honour must not unaccompanied invest in him only, but signs of nobleness, like stars, shall shine on all deservers, from hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labour which is not for you. I'll myself be the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your reproach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Caudle.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down. Or else a leap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. Let the eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
True, worthy Banquo. He is full so valiant, and his commendations I am fed. To the banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care has gone before us to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Caudle, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with hail king that shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness has promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Caudle, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. 'Tis too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily. Wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou wouldst have great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do if thou have it. And rather thou dost fear to do than wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ears, and chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid does seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tiding?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who whatso would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true. Our thane is coming. One of my fellows at the speed of him, who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. Brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts. Unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, and stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no combunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pull thee in the dumbest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold! Hold! Great clown! Worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in an instant. My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight. And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for. And you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and mastery.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favour ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, the temple-haunting martlet, by his loved mansionry does approve that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No jetty freeze, buttress, nor coign of vantage, yet this bird hath made his procreant cradle and pendant bed. Where they most breed and haunt, I have observed, the air is delicate.
See, our honoured hostess. The love that follows us sometimes is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God ild us for your pains and thank us for your trouble.
All our service in every point, twice done and then done double, were single and poor business to contend against those honours, deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old and the late dignities, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We cursed him at the heels and had purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, had holped him to his home before us. Kind and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs, themselves, and what is theirs in compt, to make their audit at your highness's pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Show me to mine host, whom we love highly. By your leave, hostess.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, will jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. He is here in double trust. First, as I am his servant and his kinsman, strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should against his murderers shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtue shall plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off. And pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
I've almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he not asked for me?
No, you not, he has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have brought golden opinions from all sorts of people. Should it be best that we should wear it now in a new gloss, not cast aside so soon?
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Have it slept since? And makes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I count my love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou wert in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and never coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that become a man. He that dares do more is none.
What beast was then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor the place did then appear, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck. And know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains will I with wine and with ale so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but nails. Will it not be received when we have marked the hands with blood those that are in his chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other? As we shall make our griefs and clamour roar upon his death.
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Come, let us mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I've not heard the clock.
She goes down at 12.
I take it 'tis later, sir.
Hold. There's husbandry in heaven. All their candles are out. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain me in the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Who's there?
A friend.
What, sir, not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been in unusual pleasure, and sent forth a great largesse to your offices. With this diamond he does greet your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
In being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the three weird sisters. To you they have shown some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we might spend it upon some words upon that business, if you would gladly take it.
At your kindest leisure.
If you would cleave your consent to me when 'tis, it shall bring honour on you.
I shall be counselled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle towards my hand? Come. Let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in a form as palpable as that which I now draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fool of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood which was not so full before. There is no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. And o'er the one half world, nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtain's sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarumed by his sentinel the wolf, who howls his watch and with his steady pace, and Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, which the way I walk, for fear it may prate me of my whereabout, and take the present horror of the time, which now suits with it. Whilst I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell which summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace, it was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman that gives the Sterns good night. He is about it. The doors are open. And the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their posits that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho?
Alack, I'm afraid they have awaked and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark, I laid their daggers ready, you could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done my husband.
The deed is done. Did thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
I.
Hark, who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in sleep, and one cried murder that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed themselves again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other, as they did see me with these hangman's hands. Hearing their fear, I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought of after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more, Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep which knits up the unravelled care of day, the death of each day's life, sore labour's bath, balm of hurt minds, chief nourisher in the feast of life.
What do you mean?
And still one cried, sleep no more. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain sickly of things. Go get some water and wash this filthy witness from thy hands. Why have you brought these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look on it again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Oh, Whence is that knocking? How is it with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? Huh? Oh, they pluck out mine eyes! Will not all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No. But this hand would rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your colour. Thou shame to wear a heart so white. I hear knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then. Your constancy had left you unattended. Hark, more knocking. Get on your nightgown. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Awake, Duncan, with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
For man reporter of Hell Gate, he should have old turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer who hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Oh, come in time, have napkins here now about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Faith, he is an equivocator who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Come in, equivocator. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? He is an English tailor, come hither, who stole out a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your geese. Knock, knock. Never a quiet. What are you? This place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter no further. I had thought to let someone of all professions to the primrose way, to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon! I pray you, remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Oh, faith, sir, we were carousing to the second cock, and, sir, drink is a great provoker of three things.
Well, what three things does drink especially provoke?
Marriage, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire and takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink can be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it mars him. It sets him to and takes him off. It encourages him and disheartens him, makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep and, giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir, in the very throat of me. But I requited him for his lie, and, I think, being too strong for him, though he did take up my legs some time, yet I made shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? Knocking is awake, dear. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow both.
Is the king stirring, worthy queen?
Not yet.
He did command me to call time on him, but I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know 'tis a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labour we delight in physics pain. I'll show you to the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
Not yet. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and, as they say, lamentings heard in the air, strange screams of death, and prophesizing with accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events, new hats to the awful tile. The obscure bird clamoured the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverous and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
Oh, horror, horror, horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the building.
How is it the life?
Oh, approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves. Awake, awake! Ring the alarm bell. Murder and treason. Banquo of Donalbain. Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up, and see the great doom's image. Malcolm! Donalbain! As from your graves, rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror. Ring the bell!
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house?
Speak, speak, oh gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Oh, Banquo! Our royal master's murdered.
Woe, alas, what in our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Dove, I prithee contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For in this instant there is nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Grace and renown are dead.
What is amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the fountain, the blood of life is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chambers, it seemed, had done it. Their faces were abadged with blood, so were their daggers which we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be both wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral but in a moment? No man. The expedition, my violent love, outruns the pause of reason. Here lay Duncan, whose silver skin was laced with golden blood. And there, the murderers, steeped in the colour of their trade. Who could refrain, who had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love known.
Help me hence, oh.
Look to the lady.
Why do we cannot hold our tongues that most may claim this argument for hours?
What should be spoken here, where our fate, hid in an auger hole, may rush and seize us? Let's away. Our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrows upon the foot of motion.
When we have our naked frailties hid, but suffering exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. I stand here in the great hand of God, and against this undivulged pretense, I fight on treasonous malice!
And so do I.
So all!
Let us put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
To Ireland I. Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles. The near in blood, the nearer bloody.
The murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lit. And the safest way is to avoid the aim, therefore to horse. And let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in the theft that steals itself when there's no mercy left.
Threescore and 10 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I've seen hours dreadful and things strange, but this former night hath trifled former nights.
Ah, good father, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act, threaten his bloody stage. By the clock, 'tis day. and yet the dark night strangles the travelling lark. Is night's predominance or the day's shame that darkness does the face of earth and tomb, when living light should kiss it?
But 'tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon towering in her pride of place was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, dominions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience, as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they eat each other.
They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Here comes the good Macduff. How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
It's known who did this more than bloody deed.
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Alas the day! What good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, have stolen away and fled, which puts on them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still. Thriftless ambition that wilt raven up thine own life's means. Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, I'll to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old robe set easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's benison go with you, and those that will make good from bad and right from wrong.
Thou hast it now. King, Caudle, Glamis, all as the weird women promised. And I fear thou paidst most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, that I myself be the root and father of many kings. If there be truth upon them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles too, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we'll host a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Your Highness may command me, to which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie for ever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should have required your good advice in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is it far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill the time betwixt this and supper. No, go not my horse the better. I must become a borrower of the night, for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, but filling their hearers with strange invention. But on that tomorrow, hie you to a horse, adieu. Goes Flames with you?
Aye, my good lord. Our time is called upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time until 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will ourselves keep until supper time alone. Until then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those gentlemen our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature there reigns that which should be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and in the dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom which doth guide his valour to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar's. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him, when, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren sceptre in my grip, thence to be wenched by an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue I have filed my mind. For them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rankers in the vessel of my peace, only for them. Mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo kings. Rather it be so. Come, fate, unto the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Now, stand at the door and wait there till you hear us call. Was it not yesterday that we last spoke?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then now, have you considered of my speeches? That it was he who in times past hath put you so under fortune, which you had thought was our innocent self.
You made it known to us.
I did so. And further still, which is our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant within your nature that you can let this go?
We are men, my liege.
Now, if you have that nature of the list which puts you not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosom, whose execution takes thy enemy off, and grapples you to the heart and love of us who wear our health but sickly in this life, when in his death is perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disaster, tugged with fortune that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid of it.
And both of you know that Banquo is your enemy.
True, my lord.
So he is mine. And this bloody distance, which in every minute of his life thrusts against my nearest of nature. And though I could, with brain-faced power, sweep him from my sight, and bid my will avouch it, yet I will not, for certain friends are both his and mine, which love I could not drop. Thus it is that I to your assistance do make love, and masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command.
So our lives.
Your spirit shines through you. Within the hour and no more, I will address thee where to plant yourselves, and appoint thee the spy of the time, for in the moment on't, for it must be done tonight. And with him, for there must be no botches or rubs left in the work. Fleance, his son, who leaves in his company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves a while.
We are resolved, my lord.
Stand within. It is complete. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it should find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madam, I will.
Naught's had all spent when our desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. Now, my lord, why do you keep alone? Of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with those they think of. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. While she curls and is herself, our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. Let the frame of things disjoint, both worlds suffer, ere we eat in fear and sleep in the terrible affliction of those dreams which shake us nightly. Better to be with the dead, which we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave, and after life's fitful fever he sleeps well. Treason has done the most. Not metal nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can hurt him more. Come on.
Gentle, my lord. Speak o'er your rugged looks, and be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
I shall, my love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo, and present him in both eye and tongue. Yet let our faces be visits to our hearts, which doth remain in danger.
You must leave us.
Full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his flayance lives.
But in them nature's copy's not eternal.
Comfort yet. They are assailable. Be thou jocund, ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight. There will be a deed done of a dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of that, dearest Chuck, until thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hands, cancel and tear up that great bond which doth make me pale. Light thickens, and crows make wing to the rocky wood. Great deeds of day begin to droop and drowse, and night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvellest at my words, yet hold thee still. Bad things begun make strong themselves by ill. Now prithee, come with me.
But who did bid thee join us?
Macbeth.
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day, now spurs the latent traveller apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark, I hear horses.
Give us a light there. Ho! Then 'tis he. The rest that are within the note of expectation already are in.
His horses go about.
Always a mile, yet he does usually, so all men do, from hence to the palace gate make it their walk.
A light, a light.
Is he?
Stand to it. It will rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Oh, treachery! Fly, Cleons, fly! Thou mayest revenge all slave!
Who did strike out the light?
Was not the way?
There's but one down, the sun is fled!
We have lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. The first and last the hearty welcome. I myself will mingle with society and play the humble host, whilst our hostess keeps her state, and in good time we will require her good welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with thy heart's thanks. I'll sit amongst the rest and be bold in mirth. Anon, let us drink a measure round. There's blood on my face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
Better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats, yet he is good that did the same for Fleance. If thou hadst did it, thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal sir, Fleance escaped.
There goes my fit again. I had else been perfect. Oh, sure as the marble, as founded as the rock, yet which is now cabined, confined, cribbed, and bound up in those saucy doubts and fears. Is Banquo safe?
Ay, my good lord. Safe in a ditch he bides with 20 trenched gashes in his head. The least a death to nature.
Thanks for that. And here the serpent lies. Get thee gone. I will to thee tomorrow.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold that is not often vouched, of his making 'tis given with welcome. The feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Eating a bear without it.
Sweet remembrancer. Good digestion, weight on appetite, and health on both.
May please your highness sit.
Here had we now our country's honour roofed. Were the graced person of Banquo present, I had rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. May it please your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord, what is it that moves your highness?
Thou canst not say I did it. Shake not thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and has been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. This fit is momentary. Upon a thought, he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed, and regard him not.
I am a man. I, and a bold one that dare look on that which may appall the devil.
The proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Of these flaws and starts, impostors to truth here, would well become a woman's tale by a winter's fire, authorised by a random shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look on but a storm.
Prithee, see there. Behold, look low. How, what say you? Why, what care I? If thou can shake their head, speak too. If charnel houses and their graves could send those that we bury back, our monument shall be the moors of kites.
What, quite unmanned in folly?
As I stand, I saw him.
Why, for shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now in the olden time. And here still murder has been performed that is too terrible for the ear. Yet in times past, when the brains were out, the man were dead, and there the end. They would not rise again. This is strange than any such murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do not forget. Thou worthy friends, I have an infirmity which is nothing to those that know me. Give me wine. I'll drink to the good joy of all the table round, and to our worthy friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here, to all and him and all to all. Avaunt, and quit my sight. Let the earth hide thee. Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, as but a thing of custom. 'Tis no other. Only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
If a man dares, I dare. Approach me now in the rugged Russian bear or the armed rhinoceros. Take any form but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble. Or, if thou shalt be alive again, and dare to meet me in the desert with thy sword, and if, trembling then I inhabit, thou wilt protest me the baby of a girl. But hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence! Being gone, I'm a man again. Pray you, sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
You make me strange that now I know you can behold such things and keep the unnatural ruby of your cheeks while mine is blanched with fear.
What sight, my lord?
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
It will have blood. They say it will have blood. And stones have been known to move, and trees to speak. How is it the night?
Almost at odds with morning, which is which?
How sayest thou that Macbeth denies his presence at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will tomorrow. And betimes I will to the weird sisters, for they shall speak more, for I am bent to know by the worst means the worst, and mine own self all causes shall make way. Strange things that have the head and will to hand, which should be acted ere it may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
Come, go to sleep. We are but young indeed.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret further. Only, I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth, and marry, he was dead, and the right valiant Banquo walked too late. For whom you may say, if it please you, Fleance killed, for Fleance fled. And who cannot want the thought of how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father? Damned fact, how it did grieve Macbeth! Did he not in pious rage the two delinquents tear? Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, but peace. For from broad words, and from his absence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you please tell me where he does bestow himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court. Thither Macduff has gone to pray the holy king, upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike Seward, that, by the help of these, with him above to ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free from our feasts and banquets, bloody knives, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so exasperate the king, that he prepares some act of war.
Sent he to Macduff?
He did, with an amazed, "Sir, not I." The cloudy messenger turns me his back and hums, as so would say, "You'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer."
And that might well advise him to a caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Harpier cries, "'Tis time, 'tis time."
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned eggshells throw. Toad that under cold stone days and nights is 31. Sweltered venom sleeping got, boil thou first in a charmed pot. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of a fenny snake in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell drop, boil and bubble.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, moor and gulf, of the sea salt raven shark. Roots of hemlock digged in the dark, gall of goat and slips of yew, silvered in the moon's eclipse. Finger of a birth strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab. Make the gruel thick and slab, add thereto a tiger's children, for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags, what is it you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess. And however you come to know it, answer me. Answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demands.
Will answer. Say if thou'st rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call them, let me see them.
Poor in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 farrow, grease that sweaten of a murderer's gibbet throw into the flame. Come, high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Speak, thou unknown power.
We know thy thoughts. Hear our speech, but say thou naught. Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff! Beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me, enough.
Whatever thou art, I thank you for your good advice, though it does harp my fear alight. Yet one thing...
We will not be commanded! Is another more potent than the first.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth!
Had I but 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall ever harm Macbeth.
Well then live Macduff, for what need I fear thee? Yet, let that be assurance double sure. I will make a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder.
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be, till great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
Why, that will never be. For who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his rooted earthbound foot? Rebellion's head will never rise till the wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth will live the lease of nature. Yet my heart throbs to know one more thing. Will Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will have what I came here for. Deny me not, and tell me more.
Show
Show
his eyes and leave his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo down. Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs. Thy hair is like the first, and the third is like the former. Why, filthy hags, why do you show me this? forth. What? Will the line stretch ever to the crack of doom? And the seventh? Another yet? Yet I will not see no more. And yet an eighth. Who just stand with a glass that makes me see many more. Oh, horrible sight! Now I see 'tis true. For the blood-bolstered Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his. What? Is this not so?
Aye, all of this is so. But why stand Macbeth so amazedly? Come, chill yap his sprites, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give a sound while you perform your antics round, and thus this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome pay.
Where are they? Gone. This pernicious hour will stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in, without. What's my grace's will? Didst thou not see the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infectious be the air whereupon they ride, and damn those that believe in them. Methought I heard a galloping. Wherefore do they ride?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that has sent to tell you Macduff has fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my lord.
Pine, thou anticipatest my dread exploits. From this moment, let the firstlings of my heart be the firstlings of my hand, to crown my thoughts in acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, and give the edge of the sword to his wife and babes, and all those unfortunate souls which trace him in his line. No more boasting like a fool. The deed I'll do before my purpose cool. But no more sights. Where are those gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
Let us seek out some desolate shade and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and, like good men, bestride our downfall and death. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, and new sorrows strike heaven on the face.
What you have spoken, it may be so perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something of him you may desire in me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose.
I have lost my hopes.
Perhaps even there where I did find my doubts. Why, in that rawness, left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave-taking? Let not my jealousies be your dishonours, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny. Lay thou thy basest shore, for goodness dare not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs, the title is afeard. Fare thee well, lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkest for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp.
Be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a new gash is added to our wounds. When I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet our poor country will have more vices than it had before, more suffer, and more sundry ways by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is by myself, I mean, in whom I know all of the particulars of vice so grafted that, should they be opened up, black Macbeth would seem as pure as snow, and the poor estate esteem him as a lamb compared with my confiner's harms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned than evil to top Macbeth.
I grant him. Luxurious, bloody, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a stanchless avarice that, were I king, I should cut off the nobles from their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than some seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath voices to fill up your will. Of your mere own, all these are portable with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces is justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, patience, devotion, courage, fortitude. I have no relish to them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting it many ways. Nay, had I power, I would pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity in earth. If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I've spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed. Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee oftener on her knees than on her feet died every day she lived. Fare thee well. The evils that thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, my hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honour. Devilish Macbeth by many trains have tried to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from o'er credulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me. Unspeak the detractions, abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself as strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, ever was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am truly is thine, and my poor country's to command. Whither even before thy here approach, old Seward, with 10,000 more like when, already at a point was setting forth. Now we'll together, and let the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile. See who comes here.
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever-gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that make us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did?
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing, who knows nothing, as once seemed to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks rend the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying, or ere they sicken.
Oh, relation, too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace?
No. They were at peace when I did leave them.
How goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumour of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witness the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, gracious England hath lent us good Seward and 10,000 men, an older and better soldier none than Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like. But I have words that will be howled out in the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern thee? The general cause? Or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, for they shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner whereon the quarry of these murdered deer, to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven. What, man? There pull your hat upon your brows. Give sorrow words, the grief that does not speak, or whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
My children too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too?
I have said, be comforted. Let us make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? What? Oh, Hellkite. All. What? All my pretty chickens and their dam in one fell swoop.
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff. They were all struck for thee. Not that I am not for their own demerits, but for mine fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
This the whetstone of thy sword. Let grief convert to anger, blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes and braggart with my tongue. But, gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length set him. If he scape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Now we go to the king. Our powers are ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for the shaking, and powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never bides the day.
Two nights I have watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your reports. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty entered the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, open her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. And yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature to receive at once the benefits of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performance, what at any time have you heard her say?
That's so which I will not report after her.
Well, you may to me, and 'tis right you do so.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
Look how her eyes are open.
Yet their senses shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what she says to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
And spot. Out I say. 1, Who? I don't have time to do it. That was murky. Fly, my lord, fly, a soldier under fit! What need we fear who knows it? And none can call our power to account. Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that! You mark all with this starting!
Go to. You have heard what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not, I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Yet here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh. Oh. Ah!
Oh, what a sigh is there. The heart is sorely changed.
I will not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be, sir.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown, but not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo is buried. Cannot come out on his grave.
Even so?
To bed. To bed. He's knocking at the gate. Come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds into their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God, help us all. Look after her, remove from her means all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. My mind she is mated and amazed by sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
The English force draws near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenges burn in them, for their great cause would to the bloodiness and grim alarm excite the mortified man.
Near Burnham Wood shall we meet them? That way are they coming. Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
Oh, for certain, sir, he is not. I have a line of all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many unrough youths that even now protest their first of manhood.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsany he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad, others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. For certain, his distempered course cannot be borne within the belt of rule. Now does he feel his secret murders sticking on his hands. Now minutely revolts upbraid his faith breach. Those he command move only in command, not in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose upon him, like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Why then, who could blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of the sickly weal, and with him pour we in our country's purge each drop of us.
Or so much as it needs, to dew the sovereign crown and drown the weeds. Make we our march towards Burnham.
me no more reports, let them fly all. Till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What is the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? Those spirits that know all mortal consequence have placed me thus. Fear not, Macbeth, for none born of woman shall e'er have power over thee. So fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall not sink with doubt, nor shake with fear. Devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon! Where got thou thy geese look?
There is 10,000
Geese, villain!
soldiers, sir!
Go, prick thy face and overread thy fear. What soldiers? What soldiers, Wayface?
The English force, so please you.
Take thy face hence. Satan! I am sick at heart when I behold. Satan, I say! This push will cheer me ever or deceit me now. That which accompanies old age as honour, love, obedience, troops of friends, must I not hope to have, yet in their stead, curses, not loud but deep, which the poor heart would fain deny, nor dare not. Satan!
What is your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me mine armour.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses and skir the country rounds. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armour. How does thy patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that do keep her from rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow. Cleanse from that stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart.
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs, I'll none of it. Come, give me mine armour. Satan, send off. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, take all the water from my land, find her disease, and purge her to a sound and pristine health. What purgative drug would scour these English hence? Hearest thou of them?
Aye, my lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring them after us. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand that Chambers will be safe.
We doubted nothing.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery ere in report of us.
It shall be done.
All that we know is the confident tyrant keeps in Dunsinane and shall endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Though speculative, their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate. Wars, which advance the war.
Hang out our banners on the outward wall. The cry is still they come. Our castle strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie, till famine and the ague eat them up. If they were forced with those that would have been ours, we would have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. Ah! What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord.
I forgot the taste of fears. There has been a time where my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and at a dismal treatise my hair would rouse and stir as if life rent. I have supped full with horrors. Direless, once familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The Queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out. Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story, quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say it, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked towards Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Liar and a slave!
Let me enjoy your wrath, if it not be so. Within this 3 mile may you see it coming, I say a moving grove.
If thou speak false, upon the nearest tree shalt thou hang alive till famine cling thee. If thou speak sooth, I care not if you do to me as much. I begin to doubt the fiend of the equivocator, who said, fear not till Burnham wood do come to Dunsinane. And now a wood come to Dunsinane. Arm, arm and out. If that which he avouches does appear, there'll be no flying hence or tarrying here. I begin to be aweary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarum bell. Blow, winds, come, ruck. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Now near enough, your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff, and we shall take upon us what else remains to do, according to our order.
Fare you well. Do but find the tyrant's power tonight. It is be beaten and cannot fight.
Make our trumpets speak, give them all breath, those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
They have tied me to a stake, I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight this course. What is he that was not of woman born? One am I to fear, or none?
What is thy name?
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou callest thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name is Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorred tyrant! With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speakst.
Thou what's born of woman. I smile at my sword, and weapons laugh to scorn when brandished by one that is of woman born.
That way the noise is. Tyrant! Show thy face! If thou be slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns, whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheathe again, undeeded. There thou shouldst be. By this great clatter, one of greatest note seems bruited. Let me find him, fortune, and more I beg not.
The castle is gently rendered. The tyrant's people do fight on both Besides, the noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day professes itself yours, and little is to do.
We have met with foes that strike beside us.
This way, my lord, the castle.
Why should I play the Roman fool and fall upon my own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do better on them.
Turn, hellhound, turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee. Yet get thee back. My soul is too much charged with the blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloody habiliment terms can give thee out!
Thou losest labour. As easy makest thou the entrenchant air upon thy blade to make thee bleed. Go, use thy blade on some vulnerable crest, for I live a charmed life that will not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macbeth was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it doth cow my better part of man. And be those juggling fiends no more believe, who prate with us withal, who keep our promises to our ear, and break them to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze o'er the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted on a pole, and under it, here may you see the tyrant.
I'll not yield, and kiss the ground at young Malcolm's feet. Though Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed, being not of woman born, yet I will try the last. Here, before me, I lay my weapons down. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be he that first cries hold. Enough!
I would the friends we miss were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet, by these I see, so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man, he died.
Then he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier he'd be. If I had as many sons as hairs, I would wish no nobler a death. And so, his knell is not.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well, and paid his swords. And so, God be with him. Here comes a new comfort.
Hail, King, so thou art. Behold where stands usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak your salutations in your minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour's named. What's more to do which would be newly planted with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that take the care to be done, by the grace of grace, we will perform in measured time and place. So thanks to all, and to each one, whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.